Hare Krishna. We welcome you all today to Melbourne Mahaprabhu Mandir on this transcendental evening. And it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce my spiritual master and today's guest speaker, His Grace Śrīmad Sankarshan Das Adhikari Maharaj to you all. Maharaj is a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He got initiated in 1971, and on the order of his spiritual master, he has actually dedicated his life to spread the teaching of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And with the blessing of Srila Prabhupada and with the blessing of GVC, Maharaj is an initiating guru of ISKCON. And looking at the current condition of the world, how fast the world is degrading, Maharaj introduced an online course called the Ultimate Self-Realization. It was introduced, Maharaj introduced it in 2003. Since then, it has got over 25,000 subscribers all over the world in over 100 countries. So if you haven't enrolled, we highly encourage. It's called www.joincourse.com. And it's if you haven't enrolled, we highly recommend to do that. And you got nothing to lose but your anxiety. And Maharaj, he's written books as well. And after today's program, Maharaj will be signing the book as well. It's called Truth Works. And we've got limited copies. So, please get your hand onto it. And to enliven his disciples, his students, and his audiences across the world, Maharaj traveled not once, but twice a year, accompanied by his dear wife, Her Grace Vishnupriya Mataji. So we are very fortunate. So we are very fortunate and blessed to have these two great personalities, great soul with us. So please take this opportunity to associate with them. If you have any questions in regards to anything, it could be who we are, who God is, what is our relationship with God. Don't hesitate. It is a good time to clear all these doubts and take as much association as possible so that we can purify ourselves and we can actually serve Srila Prabhupada and mission of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, which is to spread the teaching, to spread the mercy in all the towns and villages. So with this small introduction, I'll hand it over to our guest speaker, His Grace Śrīmad Sankarshan Das Adhikari.
Thank you, Nandalala. So Gurudev, I believe, we just very briefly, you flew in this morning from Kuala Lumpur. You're here for a short period of time, and then you're back on the plane again to Los Angeles to further spread this movement and teach Krishna consciousness to the world. So if I may start off and ask if you could actually tell us about Lord Caitanya, please.
Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Premavadayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namna Godavishaya Namaha. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has unlimited mercy. But that mercy is, as Prabhupada explains, conditional. That if you surrender to me, I will deliver you. Lord Chaitanya is even more merciful than Krishna himself, because Lord Chaitanya simply gives pure love of God without any condition. That here, take love of God. Just like he went through the Jharkhand forest, there's so many wild animals. Even the animals are becoming intoxicated with Krishna prema by the mercy of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So, if we can somehow get that mercy of Lord Chaitanya, even if we're not very qualified in sense control, in mind control, in piety, or whatever it may be, the good qualities for one to become self-realized, even if we're completely bereft of all good qualities, if somehow or other we can just get that mercy of Lord Chaitanya, then we can actually achieve Krishna prema, the perfection of our existence. So we should all be very, very eager to get that mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada instructed us, we should always chant, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, the most amazing thing is going to happen, as predicted by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says there in the Adi Lila, Sajjana Durjana Pangu, Jadda Anagana, Prema Vanyayala Dubaila Jagatena Jana. This Krishna consciousness movement is a prema tsunami, a tidal wave of love of God. It will inundate the entire world, drowning everyone, the pious, the impious, the lame, the invalid, the blind. Everybody will become drowned in this ocean of Chaitanya's mercy. So this is the great mercy of Lord Chaitanya. This movement that he has created, it started 500 years ago in what's now West Bengal, that will one day inundate the entire universe. And we are the lucky persons who in the early days, when hardly anybody knows about this movement, we are the lucky, most fortunate persons who have gotten the opportunities to be instruments in the hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for bringing about this global tidal wave of love of God.
You, in your reply there, where you're nicely telling us about Lord Chaitanya, you're talking about we need to get Lord Chaitanya's mercy. How do we go about getting Lord Chaitanya's mercy?
You got to beg for it, that's all. Lord Chaitanya gives his mercy very easily. All you have to do is really desire his mercy, you see. If you have the desire to be blessed by Lord Chaitanya, then the mood that will attract him is, as he describes, Jade Deka Tahekaha Krishna Upadesh Amara Agayo Guru Hoyutara Edesh. Whomever you meet, instruct them in the teachings of Krishna. In this way, on my order, you become Guru and deliver the people of this world. If you will take up the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread Krishna consciousness, to dedicate your life for inundating this universe with prema, if you will take up that mood of wanting to share Krishna with everyone, then that's how immediately you receive the unlimited blessings of Lord Chaitanya.
Now, so tonight's program is also, we want to find out who Lord Chaitanya is, and also, can you tell us about Lord Chaitanya's message? What was his key message?
I just did. Jari Deka Taheka Krishna Upadesh. Whomever you meet, instruct him in the teachings of Krishna. That's the key order. Prabhupada said the same order, Sarvadharman Parijyaja Mamekang Shadadang Vraja. The key instruction of Krishna is manifest from the mouth of Lord Chaitanya is Jari Deka Tahekaha Krishna Upadesh. So that is the essential teaching of Lord Chaitanya. Of course, the philosophy is there. Jivera Svarupahai Krishnera Nityadas, Lord Chaitanya teaches. The constitutional position of the living entity is that he is the eternal servant of Krishna. So if you want to understand Lord Chaitanya's teachings, you have to understand you're not your material body. You have to understand you're the eternal servant of Krishna. Actually, you are one of Krishna's associates from the spiritual world, either in his original form or one of his expanded forms. You are one of Krishna's associates from the spiritual world somehow or other because you had a curiosity. What would it be like if you were God? He gave you the opportunity to live in a world where you can think that you are God. But actually, we are all the eternal associates of Krishna. We have nothing to do with this world of birth and death. We're simply meant to get back to our original positions in the pastimes of the Lord in the spiritual world. So Lord Chaitanya is making that easy. This age is the most unfortunate age in terms of material corruption, but it is the most fortunate age in terms of how to become liberated. In the Satya Yuga, they would meditate for 60,000 years to achieve perfection. In the Treta Yuga, they had to do great elaborate sacrificial ceremonies. In the Dwapara Yuga, all kinds of unconceivably opulent deity worship they had to do. But in this age, all we have to do is Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatir, and Nacha. Chant the holy names, chant the holy names, chant the holy names. That's all we have to do in this age. Lord Chaitanya has made it very easy. You just have to chant Hare Krishna and beg for the mercy of Krishna in this way to be engaged in his service, and all perfection will come to you.
Now, given we've just passed the 50th anniversary of this wonderful movement, how much have you seen the movement progress, and where do you see the movement in the next 50 years?
Yeah, when I joined, it was relatively small compared to where it is now. When I joined, any devotee in the movement could write Prabhupada a letter and get an answer. You can imagine. When I joined, I took advantage of that also, by the way. I took good advantage of it. So, and then, of course, movement rapidly expanded. Of course, in the very beginning, it was just that one little storefront, and then it went to 2 temples, and then it went to 3, and then went to 4. And then it also went to jumped to like 30. It's just, she went to like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like 30 all of a sudden. So now we have, I have no idea how many centers we have all over the world. It's humongous. Even in Malaysia, they must have 50 or 60 different centers going on. So my vision is that I'm a very optimistic person. I'm a very idealistic person. I'm what's called a dreamer. That's my nature. I'm a dreamer. So my vision is that in the next 50 years we'll take over the whole world. That's my vision. That's what I'm fighting. It may happen, it may not happen, but that's my goal. Within the next 50 years, all the high court judges will bring tilak in every country on this planet. That's what I'm living for, and every day I'm begging Krishna. I'm begging him that we can make the whole world Krishna conscious as soon as possible. Prabhupada actually told us, he said, if you will simply cooperate with me, in 18 days we can make the whole world Krishna conscious. So what to speak of 50 years, even 18 days? The trouble is we're not cooperating very well. That's the difficulty. We have a difficulty cooperating with each other. That's what's holding our movement back. So I'm just begging all the devotees, please lay aside whatever differences you may have. They're not very important. And let us work together cooperatively, because if we do so, in the next 50 years, we can make the whole world Krishna conscious.
So, how do we, or even though we feel we're not qualified, how can we still preach and participate in the growth of this movement?
Well, that's very nice. You feel unqualified. That is your qualification. You think, yeah, I'm pretty qualified for it. Yeah, I've been initiated now for 3 or 4 years. And I got my Brahmin thread, and I know a few sloks. I get up for Mangalarti at least once a month, and I'm really qualified, Prabhu. Yeah. No. The more you feel unqualified, that's your qualification. The more you feel I'm unqualified to give Krishna, that's the more you become qualified. So just try to become humble, you see. Chanada pisa nichena tarara pisa hishnuna amanina mananena kirtaniya sadahari. You see. Thinking yourself lower than the straw in the street, being more tolerant than a tree, considering yourself lower than being willing to offer all respect to others without even giving the slightest tinge of respect for yourself. In such a state of mind, you can preach to make the whole world Krishna conscious, actually. So you have to be humble. That's the key. The more you feel you're unqualified, that is your qualification.
And you mentioned also in there, if we cooperate, we can take over the world in 18 days, and here we are 50 years later. So how can we cooperate? Or how do we cooperate? Well,
some devotees say we just have to please Krishna, but you know what Krishna says? He says, Ye me bhakta jana parata, na me bhakta state janaha, mad bhaktanam che ye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamata. My dear Arjun, the one who considers himself to be my devotee, na me bhaktas, he is not my devotee, but the devotee of my devotees, he is my devotee. So if you actually want to become recognized by Krishna, then you have to become the devotee of Krishna. That's how you become recognized by Krishna.
And what's an inspirational moment that you and Srila Prabhupada had together that you still cherish and that inspires you to go on every day?
Well, what I remember, the most physical association I had with Prabhupada was that I wasn't initiated yet, but we were all in Los Angeles from all over the movement. There was big initiation ceremonies day after day. Prabhupada did several days in a row, initiation ceremonies. There was so many devotees there. It was a wonderful gathering of devotees from all over. and Prabhupada was there. He would go on the morning walk, and he wouldn't walk straight from the temple. They would drive him to the beach or to a park somewhere, and he would walk there, and they would drive him back. So Prabhupada came back in the car from the walk, and there was a whole system where everybody lines up along the sidewalk. He gets out on the sidewalk, on the edge of the street there, and he walks on the sidewalk back to the rear side of the temple, where there's an entrance to his quarters. So the system was down that sidewalk in which he would make his little stroll to his quarters. All the devotees would be lined up with flowers in their hand. Every devotee had a flower, and Prabhupada had a basket of flowers. So Prabhupada you would give him a flower, and he would give you a flower. You have your own little one-on-one moment, just you and Prabhupada. There could be a picture taken, you standing there with Prabhupada. Just the two of you having a loving exchange of exchanging flowers with each other. It was really sweet. So I got near the front of the line. We always like to be near the front. And Vishnu John Swami, who had made me a devotee, he was at the very front. And Prabhupada got out of the car and gave him a hug. Wow. That was something. I was one of his men. I felt like I was getting a hug also just by seeing him I wasn't envious. I felt I was also being hugged, seeing the Vishnu John Swami getting the hug. So then I had my moment. Prabhupada came to me. I handed him the flower. He handed me a flower. So now I have a half flower in my hand that Prabhupada gave me. And so Prabhupada's going on down the line. So to see Prabhupada with your very eyes, it's not different from seeing Krishna. If you can imagine the power and the potency, it's like seeing Krishna face to face. It's not different from seeing Krishna himself. So as Prabhupada's coming around on that sidewalk, going back to his quarters, he just finished the line of the devotees. There's little steps going up to the end of the temple room. So I stood there on the steps. It was a congregational hall then. Now it's not the temple room. I stood on the steps so I could just have a darshan. So I call it drinking Prabhupada into your heart through your eyes, if you can understand what I mean. Drinking Srila Prabhupada into your heart through your eyes. So I'm gazing at Prabhupada as he's coming by, and I'm standing there with my flower in the hand, And Prabhupada looks up at me, sees somebody who's not in the queue with all the other devotees. Somebody is out of the queue. He looks up and he wonders if I got a flower or not yet. Can you imagine? Out of a huge crowd of devotees, Prabhupada singles me out, and he wondered whether I got a flower or not yet. Can you imagine how merciful he was? So there was no verbal expression. It was all body language and verbal and facial expression. He held up a flower like, "Did you get a flower yet?" And then I held up my flower with a big ear-to-ear grin, I'm sure. And I shook my head and showed Prabhupada my flower. Yes, I have a flower, Prabhupada. I thanked him. So that was a very special moment that Prabhupada, I was just some wild renegade bhakta from Texas. And Prabhupada singled me out from the crowd, wanted to make sure I got a flower. And so now you have a flower in your hand, what are you going to do with it? Your householder, you can put it in a glass jar and keep it on your dresser, but I was just a brahmachari with my sleeping bag in the closet every night, right? What to do? Well, I just ate the flowers, so I keep it, keep it in my body for a while. Ate the flower. Purify my body by that flower that Prabhupada, in Prabhupada's hand, you see. So that's my favorite time.
And as we heard earlier, but when you were being introduced, you travel the wife twice a year with your dear wife, seeing over 100 countries. You have over 25,000 subscribers to your course. Mm-hmm. How do you manage this? Like, what's a typical day as such?
Typical day?
Yeah, like how do you manage this?
Well, it depends. Depends on what time you went to bed, because there was a late night preaching program. This morning I got up at 2 and chanted my rounds between 2 and 3:30. This is on the airplane. And then I sang the Gavastakam prayers. I worked on thought for the day. I even recorded a video for the day on the airplane when we were flying. You'll see it tomorrow. Those of you who are subscribers, you'll see the video for the day tomorrow, recorded between Hong Kong and Melbourne on the Cathay flight. We worship Sri Sri Radha Damodar. So in Austin, for example, I like to get up at 2 or 2:30 and chant. I chant a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day, the English and Sanskrit. I chant the Brahma Samhita prayers every day. I chant 16 rounds every day. I write thought for the day every day, video for the day every day. I got regular things that happen every day without fail. And then, of course, Mangal Arti, Tulsi worship in Austin. I bathe and dress Srila Prabhupada. I cook the breakfast offering. Mataji and I alternate the Bhagavatam class. She gives it one morning, I give the other morning. And then during the day, all kinds of things. Right now I'm working on I was a songwriter before, so I've been working on a Krishna conscious CD of English songs describing our philosophy. I have one song called The Peace Formula, which was, I sent the lyrics to President Barack Obama, and he very much appreciated it, very much appreciated the song. And in the song I was challenging the world leaders. I said, listen here, all of you world leaders, if you want real peace, this you must understand. And then I explained to them Bhagavad Gita 5:29, Krishna's peace formula. So I said, listen here, all you world leaders. And Bhagavad Gita said, I want you to know I'm listening. So that was nice. So I do that. Also I have different projects. In addition to doing all the emails, I've been working on the music since January, actually. I've been working on this CD. Also, I have an autobiography I'm working on, but that's been laid aside while I work on the CD. But I'm working on autobiography. Basically, I'm different. Depends where I am. There are all kinds of varied activities. I may do a noon arti in the evening, putting in the rest in the evening. The day at Radha Damodar. So there's all kinds of. The schedule is not fixed, but chanting Brahma Samhita, chanting a chapter of Gita, Mangal Arti, 16 rounds, thought for the day. Those are standard things I do every day.
And you mentioned about preaching Krishna consciousness throughout the world. So if you can sit in one place and preach for the internet, why do you still travel the world and preach?
Huh?
If you can sit in one place and preach via the internet,
because face-to-face is much more powerful than the internet. The internet is more or less impersonal. To me, the internet is more of a tool to enhance my direct preaching. Direct preaching.
So how effective is the internet preaching for you?
It is very effective. I mean, I made disciples just by the internet. They find me on the internet and they want to become my disciples. So I find it very effective. I mean, it's for my disciples, it's very helpful for them to have something every day from their spiritual master. As we pray, my only desire is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. That's the mood the disciples should have for their spiritual master. So it's very nice for the disciples to have an opportunity to hear, to see a fresh video from their spiritual master every day, and a fresh daily meditation, as well as questions and answers. These are very good for my disciples, plus so many other people are appreciating it as well. We'd like to see it grow. It's growing quite well. I mean, like yesterday, I think 47 people signed up in one day. So, it just keeps expanding. We're hitting 25,000 now in the next few days, and then we'll go to 26. But my goal is actually to hit, I don't know the percentages, but for the English-speaking world, but if we can, my goal is 50 million. I want to have 50 million, make 50 million people Krishna conscious, because Prabhupada said, if we can even make less than 1% of the world population Krishna conscious, the whole world become peaceful. So that's my goal, is I can at least make 50 million people devotees of Krishna. That's my goal.
And with over 25,000 subscribers, who's answering the emails? Is it yourself?
Oh, yeah, I mean answering them?
Yeah, personally.
Yeah, I answered. Not that many people write, to be honest. I mean, sometimes I only have like 10 or 12 emails a day to answer. Sometimes if I get behind, I may have 100 to answer, But right now I may have like 10 or 12 and I'll be totally caught up. Today I didn't. I was kind of wiped out from the flights, so I took some rest today. So maybe just 10 or 12 a day. I'm not sure what the average is, how many answer every day, but it's not that bad. Not that many people write with questions, just a few here and there.
And we've seen the movement grow significantly in India, which is fantastic. How do we reach out to the Westerners and the Western-bodied people?
With love. That's the key, isn't it? Love.
So I'm just wondering, have we got any questions from the audience at this stage?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. How do I develop taste for reading Srila Prabhupada's books?
How does he do it?
Develop taste for reading Prabhupada's books.
Just by reading them. Right now you may have no taste, but start reading them and the taste will come.
Thank you.
How do you develop a taste for rasagula, for example? Maybe you never tried one, but you take a few rasagulas and you'll definitely get a taste, you see. Of course they have to be expertly made. Some are not so expertly made. But if you get expertly made rasagulas like the one they have in Pune, at the temple in Pune, your whole life changes after one bite.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, yes.
As we mentioned earlier, the movement's grown significantly in India, and when we see the preachers coming here to the Melbourne temple, a lot of the older body devotees, Westerners, and it seems at the moment that the younger Western people aren't as keen to take it up. What do you think has slowed down the Western growth in the movement?
Well, the 60s was a very special time when you had the whole countercultural phenomenon. You had, the youth in my era, the hippie movement. It was like a manifestation of what Dylan had sung. He said, "Come, mothers and fathers throughout the land, your sons and your daughters are beyond your command." There was a whole mood of rejecting the authority of our adult, exploitative American leaders, all the way from our parents up to the president. They were rejecting all of them. You were looking for something else. There was a whole youth movement that Krishna arranged. Actually, Prabhupada said that was Krishna's arrangement to help me get my movement started. That whole hippie phenomenon was a special arrangement by Krishna, Prabhupada said. So there was a very special time in American history when all these youth rejected the authority of their parents and were looking for a new world order. And there was even a saying, "Don't trust anybody over 30." That was our motto. But we accepted. But Prabhupada was over 30, and we trusted him. He was the exception. You see, everybody else was rejected. So it was a very unique moment in American history, and it was all over the world, in Europe also, Australia also. It was a whole countercultural thing, and it was a special arrangement by Krishna. So. And then the door closed on that opportunity after some time. So now the question is, what is the second wave? What we can do to reach out to the Westerners now? You see, that's my meditation. How can we present without in any way changing or watering down our philosophy and our practices? How can we present it in such a way that the whole world will want to join? That's my great challenge, and I'm begging Krishna every day that will happen. Intensely begging Krishna every day that we can capture the whole world now and make them all Krishna conscious.
And with everything being digital these days and going online, iPads, iPod, internet, Facebook, Instagram, the whole deal, how do we convince new people to still purchase physical books?
Well, people are still purchasing physical books. The bookstores are still selling books, and people still like to have a book in the hand. It's much more solid and substantial than something on your smartphone. You have to keep, it blinks off. You have to move the screen around. I actually just read a book on the airplane. I just finished a book by Shama Sundar about the early days of ISKCON. An actual physical book is very wonderful, and it's much more accessible. If your iPhone battery goes dead, you can't read the book that's in there, you see. So the books, having a physical book in the hand is very practical, and the books are still being sold, and there's no reason why we can't, there's no reason why we can't selling these books as well. It's our own enthusiasm is really what counts. If we're enthusiastic about book distribution, the people will take the books. There's one story, one man, he had a set of Bhagavatams, and his house burned down. And he met the devotees in the airport. He said, "Those books are amazing. My whole house burned down except the books. The books weren't hurt by the fire at all." We had that experience also in Austin. Our house caught on fire, and it was basically a wreck. But the books weren't touched. And the deity paraphernalia also was not touched by the fire. For a whole year we had to live in a rental house while they repaired our house. We were out preaching in Europe, and the lightning hit our house, and it very badly burned, very badly damaged. For a whole year we couldn't live there. But the books were not touched, and the deity paraphernalia was not touched. So these books are mystical. They have great power and potency. If you just take one of these books into your home will become blessed. Take one of these books into your life will become blessed.
And I've been informed that you haven't missed one Mangalarti since you've been involved in the movement. What do you find so attractive and sweet about attending Mangalarti in the morning?
It's called life. Life, yeah. Mangalarti means life. And not going to Mangalarti means death. So it's life. You know? And it's also stated in the Gravastakam prayers, which we sing every morning. The 9th prayer, which follows the 8th, says, anyone who chants these prayers during the Brahma Muhurta will receive the direct service of Krishna in the spiritual world after leaving his present material body. So who wouldn't want to get that boon? Actually, Prabhupada said every devotee must attend Mangalarti. So I instruct all of my disciples, if you can't come to the temple, you can just do a 5-minute simple dupe arti and sing Gravastakam in 5 minutes in your own house. You're doing other things. You spend 5 minutes shaving, you can spend 5 minutes singing Gravastakam prayers. I mean, it's not a big deal. Get up before the sunrise and Samsaradava Naladita Loka. Actually, that song is what convinced me to become a disciple of Prabhupada. Because I was one of these hippie songwriters, and George Harrison had just had My Sweet Lord as a #1 mega hit, and I was thinking, well, I'll just follow the George Harrison Sampradaya, I'll write Krishna conscious songs, and that'll be it. But I moved into the temple so I could learn how to write better songs, not to become a brahmachari, But then one morning, an amazing thing happened because we didn't know about it, but the devotees in London with George had produced this Radha Krishna temple album. Beautiful arrangements with all kinds of, with George and Paul and Ringo and the London Orchestra. It was incredible, the devotees. It was an amazing recording. And so we were playing that every day in the temple room. The radio station didn't want to air it, and they gave it to us as a gift out on Hare Nam. He said, here, you might like to have this. And boy, were we excited. We took that album back, and we were playing it regularly on the 33 and the 3rd record player. And so I was holding out. Devotees were saying, you should become a disciple. I was thinking, no. They said, but Krishna says in the Gita, unless you have to take shelter of the bona fide spiritual master. Was I going to do it? Nope. Even Vishnu Jan Swami, I had written on my hand, there's this, for a Texas hippie, it's pretty long and pretty hard to learn, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bistaya Buddhale Shimate Ba. So I wrote the whole day, because you'd say it when you enter the temple room, so I wrote it down on my hand. And Vishnu Jan Swami noticed in my thumb there was still some empty space. So he said, now you add this to your thumb. I must surrender to my spiritual master. I must please my spiritual master and surrender unto him fully. So they were really trying to convince me, but I was a holdout. Nope. But then one morning, and that second cut came up on the album. Samsaradava nalalita loka tranaya karyunya gana ganadvam praptasya kalyana gunanavasya vandiguru shri jaranada vindam. So I heard that song, and I just tuned into the vibes in the hearts of those devotees, and I went, wow. I'm on the outside of the honey jar trying to lick some honey up off the jar, and it's a clean jar. There's no honey on the outside. They got their tongues in the jar, and they're soaking up all that honey. So actually, that's Gravastami is what convinced me to become Prabhupada's disciple. Actually, by hearing their Gravastakam song sung by the devotees, Prabhupada, through the medium of their singing Gravastakam, Prabhupada entered into the innermost region of my heart at that minute. And I just started crying. I said, the tears rolled down my face, and I said, I thought out to myself, wouldn't it be beautiful if I gave my life to Srila Prabhupada? And that song did it. So, that song is very powerful. It's written by the great Vaishnavas, Acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. By singing that song, you get the direct mercy of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to have the awakening of pure love of God within your heart. So what fool wouldn't want to sing Gravastakam every morning, following Prabhupada's order that we should sing it every morning? That's my question. Anybody who doesn't sing Gravastakam, don't know about it, if they do, they're a complete idiot for not doing it. That's all I can say. I'm sorry if I stepped on a few toes, but it's my duty to get heavy. Guru means heavy, right? I got to step on some toes every now and then, otherwise I'm not really a guru, right? Gravastakam prayers will bring you in direct contact with Krishna and his transcendental pastimes in the spiritual world. If you want that, sing it. If you want to stay in the material world, then don't sing Gravastakam. Don't bother to get up and sing Gravastakam prayers. Sleep in. I'd rather go Vande Guru Shri Charanada Vindam than. Next.
Would you kindly share some thrilling and exciting moments in your travelling as you've been preaching around the world?
Whoa. That's the most exciting that happened to us, remember? Most exciting moment we had traveling and preaching. Exciting times. There's so many exciting times. Can you remember anything come to mind? She doesn't. There's so many. I'm just trying to remember them. Well, I can tell you an exciting even before I was traveling and preaching. Want to hear that one? Yeah, okay. You don't have to travel and preach to have excitement. Just by staying in one place, you have an excitement. We were in the Miami temple, and it was right on the edge of the ghetto, by the way. Over the fence was the ghetto where all the... it was a rich middle-class neighborhood, and just across the fence was the ghetto. Okay, so you get some idea of what might have happened one night. We're all sitting in the prasadam room taking milk prasadam, right? It used to be the standard. Everybody would take hot milk. We'd all sit around and hot milk every evening in Krishna book. So in comes the prasadam room, a couple of dark-skinned brothers. One had a shotgun or a rifle. The other had a pistol. And they weren't coming for milk prasadam. In fact, one of them had a brahmachari about it. He had her hand over her mouth and a gun at her head. And he brought her in as a hostage. And she was like, aah! And so it was a little heavy, We thought here we have an armed robbery. They said, everybody get on the floor. They ordered us to all get down on the floor. They had the guns. Get on the floor. So it was pretty heavy, What are they going to do, shoot us, You going to go back to Godhead tonight, or what's... Woo, it's pretty heavy. And so I was thinking, what is this? I was sitting on the stairs, actually, overlooking the whole scene. Like maybe about eight stairs up the steps. I was still quite visible to them. So I was thinking, well, what is this nonsense? They're telling us to get down on the floor. What is this nonsense? I went, Nrsingadev! Well, guess who got the gun pointed at him? Bhakta and Patty were relieved of the gun. Now I got the gun pointed at me, you see. And then I said, well, I had a gun pointed at me. What to do next? I said, well, you're friends. What do you want? He said, the money. Where's the money? Well, there was no sign, but right adjoining the temple room was the treasury. There was no sign posted temple treasury, but it was right there 5 feet away from him, the temple treasury. And we had cash in there from, the Sankirtan collection. So anyway, as soon as I yelled out Nrsingadev, the temple president heard something strange was going on in the prasadam room. He came out to check out what's going on. And he saw these guys with guns holding the devotees hostage. He went... And he turned around to go back into the treasury, and the gunman with the pistol, he took the gun and hit Abhiram and cut him on the head, chased him. He saw Abhiram leaving the room, he ran after him with the gun, and ka-wham, he hit him on the head. Not hard enough to knock him out, but enough to draw some blood out of his head. He cut him on the head with a gun. But Abhiram was cool as a cucumber. Anybody know Abhiram Prabhu, my godbrother? He is cool, he is Mr. Cool as a cucumber. Because the temple treasurer was sitting there. Now, there's just been some incident a few months prior in West Virginia where hostages, men had come with guns, and they would kill the Kirtanananda Swami. They're having him dig his own grave. But Krishna saved that situation. So Prabhupada authorized to have guns in the temples after that. So the temple treasurer did have a gun right there in the drawer, and he's sitting behind the desk. So Abhiram comes in, and he says out loud, I could hear him all the way across the room, he said, "Get the gun and shoot the bastards." That's all they had to hear. They went running. They didn't even wait to see the gun. But in those days, whatever the temple president gives an order, it's like the military. You just do it without thinking. Temple president grabbed that gun and went, ka-wham, pow, he missed. He hit him and hit the wall. But those thieves were running scared. And I'll give you one more, a nice story. That's another one of the adventures we had. Another adventure was out on the street passing out Simply Wonderfuls to everybody who walked up and down the street. It was a wonderful day in Florida, passing out Simplies about the university campus. And some smart aleck hippie that's, I'm going to get that Hare Krishna guy. He took this a whole basket of Simply Wonderfuls and went, ka-wham! I don't need water to drink. and he hit all the Simply Wonderfuls went flying out into the street. Can you imagine the offense? Throwing Krishna Prasadam out into the street? Whoa. Just bring it here right now. Bring it here right now. So all the Simply Wonderfuls has been thrown out into the street by this smart aleck hippie. So what are you supposed to do? Chanadapi Sandicena. So you say, well, I'm lower than a straw on the street. I'm more tolerant than a tree. Is that what you're supposed to do when someone offends Prasadam? What do you think? Well, I didn't think that, but the Super Soul inspired me what to do. I didn't go Tanada Pisanichi, no. I actually tried to tone it down so I don't bust your ears out, but I said, "You better get out there and pick up all those sweets right now!" Like that humble brahmachari, He came Nishringadev. I yelled at the top of my lungs and ordered him to pick up all the sweets. And you know what? It worked. He flipped out. He turned from a demon into a devotee. By that heavy chastisement, he snapped out of his demoniac mood and became a humble devotee. He ran out in the street and picked up all the sweets. It was an intersection. The cars were sitting there with a red light. There was a whole row of cars getting ready to roll. He ran out in front of the cars and picked up all the sweets in the middle of the intersection. As a humble, surrendered devotee. So sometimes chastisement is very good, you see. I very heavily chastised him, and it worked. And I actually helped him pick up a few sweets before the light turned green. The two of us picked up all the sweets, and before the light turned green, we had all the sweets back in the basket. So those are some of the exciting things. I'm trying to think of any on the road. There's so many exciting things, but I just can't remember them. They don't come to mind right now, but those are two very exciting adventures we have.
So
one thing I'd like to add, that a realization I had this morning, just like you're on the airplane, right? All the people is watching the movies, right? There's this movie over here, that movie over there. In one movie, some monster is climbing the Great Wall of China, and somebody's trying to kill him with a spear. Over here, something else is happening. Somebody is, all these are considered very exciting adventures on the cinema screen, you see, happening all around you. But one who is actually fully in this mood of delivering the fallen souls on the order of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Caitanya, for such a person, these movies have no attraction whatsoever. They're just like, are you kidding? Because for such a devotee, every moment he experiences is a more exciting adventure than 1,000 Hollywood and Bollywood movies put together. You see what I'm saying? So what I could really say is the most exciting moment I've ever had is right now. Right now is the most exciting moment I've ever had on the road. This is it. It's happening right now. This is the most thrilling, exciting moment right now. It's a matter of, there's even that old philosophy, be here now, you see. That applies in Krishna consciousness. If you actually tune into the mission of Lord Chaitanya, then your every moment will be the most amazing, incredible, exciting adventure that you could ever experience, and Hollywood can never even come close to replicating it.
And in the current climate that the world is in, how do we stop terrorism?
It's very simple. You have to turn people into human beings. That's all. Prabhupada discussed terrorism. He said, in the jungle, it is natural that some animals will be, terrify the other animals. So in a world where people are animals, it's natural you're going to have terrorists. The only way you can stop terrorism is to elevate the entire human society to the human platform. You have to make them Krishna conscious. Otherwise, I don't care what you do and how many weapons you get, no matter how much, you will never... Mark my words, unless you make the world Krishna conscious, this terrorism will become unbelievably bad. I mean, it's getting so bad already. Just like, the Muslims ran over people in London. Now some Britisher went to the mosque and ran over some Muslims in front of the temple to get even. So it's just going to proliferate. Now some Muslims want to run over some Christians. It's just, the thing is, it's going to expand, and pretty soon the whole world will be in a big riot. The whole world will turn into a huge riot. That's what's going to happen. This revenge, and it's just the whole thing. Unless we can make them Krishna conscious, this whole world is going to erupt in total, complete chaos. The government systems will break down. There'll be absolute anarchy all over the whole world. It's predicted by the poet Yeats that will happen. He said, things fall apart, the center cannot hold, mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. And now they're waiting for the second coming of the Messiah. This Krishna consciousness movement is the second coming of the Messiah. We have to bring this movement to the forefront of the human society, otherwise the entire human world will degrade into absolute total chaos, faster than you can believe. That's a fact.
So I would imagine that one way we can achieve this is to engage children in Krishna consciousness. How do we go about engaging?
Be Krishna conscious yourself, and they will follow your example. And the parents want I've seen parents bring their kids forward. They say, "Okay, Johnny, offer your obeisance," or Samit. "Okay, Amit, offer your obeisances to the spiritual master." And the parents don't do it. They tell their kid to do it. That doesn't work. The parents have to show by their example. The kids will naturally do whatever the parents are doing. You parents have to practice pure bhakti, according to Prabhupada's instructions, and the children will naturally follow you. You have to be an ideal example, that's all. And the children will naturally follow you. If you're spaced out in the material nature, kind of halfway, quasi-Krishna conscious, what do you expect your kids to do? You have to become a pure devotee yourself, and the children will follow you automatically.
Now we're about to wrap it up shortly, so I'd just like to ask if we have any questions from the audience.
Yeah, the Yakshas, I think, in retaliation to his brother and mother being killed by the Yakshas.
Prithu?
No, Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva, okay.
And Swami Manu had to come and pacify Dhruva Maharaj, and he was telling Dhruva Maharaj that you shouldn't over-lament about the killing of your brother and your mother, because this is actually Krishna, or the Supreme Personality Godhead, in the form of death, killing. So should we also see that it's actually Krishna who's ultimately is killing everybody, and he's also behind the terrorism?
Yeah, in one
and
sense,
is that one way to see it?
The earth is being relieved of... when the demoniac population becomes too much of a burden on the earth, then Krishna arranges for these wars so they wipe each other out. That's another way of looking at it.
And just one other point, Prabhu. He was saying that unless the whole world becomes Krishna conscious, then it'll just get worse and worse. But I've also heard...
It is predicted, it's actually predicted the end of Kali, the Kali Yuga is gradually increasing naturally by the influence of its own mode. The Kali Yuga is increasing, and Prabhupada explains at the end of the Kali Yuga it will be I eat you or you eat me. The whole planet will be reverted to cannibalism. There'll be no food left. The people will be eating each other to survive. Prabhupada described in the conversations with Allen Ginsberg what it will be like at the end of the Kali Yuga. He said those who are here at the end of the Kali Yuga, Prabhupada said they will see the fun. But those who are following this movement, they will be back with Krishna. So the Kali Yuga, by its nature, will get worse and worse and worse. However, there was a 10,000-year period predicted in the scriptures, which began with the advent of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, during which the Krishna consciousness movement will gradually inundate the whole world. It's a 10,000-year period, a golden era of Lord Chaitanya. When the Kali Yuga we go into, just like somebody comes out with cancer, but their cancer goes into remission for some time and later comes back. The Kali Yuga is an age of materialistic age, but there will be a 10,000-year period. It's like an Indian summer, they also call it, when a period of warmth in the winter. So there is this 10,000-year period during which there will be a huge, wonderful renaissance of Krishna consciousness all over the world. It's predicted by Krishna Das Kaviraj. The whole world will actually become Krishna conscious. And then gradually that will wind down and the Kali Yuga will come on with full force. But right now we're in the beginning of that 10,000-year period. From my vision, this is the most exciting moment in history right now. We've been given the potency from Lord Chaitanya and from Srila Prabhupada to pull off the greatest paradigm shift in the history of the universe right now. So it's a very exciting time. It's a time of great adventure.
Just another point. I've heard Prabhupada say in many lectures that I've listened to on tapes and that he often says that this Krishna consciousness is not for everybody. It's all,
Yeah, Prabhupada says both things. Yeah. He also said it's not possible the whole world can become Krishna conscious. Both things he said. But he also said impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. So, Prabhupada describes in this way. He says that Krishna, it's in the Bhagavatam purport, he says a Krishna conscious being is always planning how to make the whole world Krishna conscious. Even if he's not successful in doing so, his perfection is guaranteed, and anyone who follows him will also become perfect. So, we may not be successful, at least it will happen eventually, but it may not happen, for a few thousand years. The whole world becomes Krishna conscious. It will happen according to Krishna Das Kaviraj. But within our lifetimes, you could say it's impossible. But why not try to achieve the impossible? If nothing else, at least we'll be Krishna conscious. Our lives will have meaning, you see. We should make that endeavor to make the world Krishna conscious. Prabhupada gave us the order. In fact, in Los Angeles, he said, become guru and deliver the whole world. So if my spiritual master says deliver the whole world, what am I supposed to think? Well, I don't think you really mean that, Prabhupada. I don't think I should really try to do that because you said the whole world can't be delivered. But Prabhupada also said it would be delivered. So he said both things. He told Sridhananda Maharaj, he said, if you will simply read, chant, and preach, very soon this will be the only religion in the world. Prabhupada is a letter to Sridhananda Maharaj. So Prabhupada says both things. So my endeavor is, okay, well, let's try to pull it off. And by Krishna's grace, it could happen. It may not happen. But we could also come back. If we really want to make it happen, if some of us are really eager to make it happen, we could also take birth after birth until it happens, you see. Because it will happen according to Krishna Das Kaviraj, right there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The whole world will be inundated, guaranteed. His words, he is Trikalagya. Krishna Das Kaviraj is the perfect knower of past, present, and future. It's right there in the CC. Everyone will become drowned in this ocean of love of God. So by all reasonable estimates, it could be a few thousand, 3,000 or 4,000 years down the road before it really manifests. But the more we endeavor now to make it happen, the faster it will happen. And who knows? It could happen. Prabhupada said in 18 days it can happen also. He said both things. So I can look at both sides of it and think, well, you can be a pragmatist or an idealist, or you can be both at the same time. There's the pragmatic view and the idealistic view. So I say, well, let's be both. Let's be pragmatic and idealistic at the same time. Why not? It probably won't happen. That's pragmatic. In fact, it's practically impossible that it would happen in our lifetimes. It's practically impossible. So that's the pragmatic view. The idealistic view is anything could happen by Krishna's mercy. A lame man can cross over a mountain, and a dog can swim across the ocean. That's also stated. So can a dog swim across the ocean? No. But by the mercy of Lord Caitanya, it's possible. This whole movement can be inundated with the love of God in the next 18 days. So I live from that. I'm a dreamer myself, my nature. So I tend to be idealistic and always shoot for the rhino. Is it possible to bag a rhino? It's practically impossible. But Prabhupada, Shama Sundar's new book is called Chasing Rhinos with a Swami. It's impossible to go to London and convince the Beatles to become Krishna conscious. The devotees didn't think it was possible. Oh, just some pipe dream. Shama Sundar thinks we can go to the UK and make the Beatles Krishna conscious. Not possible. It's just some pipe dream. Well, Shama Sundar had this dream to do it, and he did it. He did it, and he made George Harrison Krishna conscious, you see. So you never know what's going to happen if you have that idealism like Shama Sundar Prabhu had, to do what everybody thinks is not possible. Have that idealism to do it. I recommend that book, by the way. It's really good, called Chasing Rhinos with a Swami. I don't know if you have it here yet. I had some. We sold all of them in Mauritius. I had 2 cases. They immediately sold. Immediately sold out. I have 1 copy with me, but it's signed by the author. I'm keeping it. That's my personal copy. I read it, finished it reading on the airplane from Hong Kong, the last chapter. So anyway, yeah, I think we should be in the mood of chasing rhinos. Even though they're, I think we should be in the mood of making the whole world Krishna conscious, because if you do so, magic can happen. And if you don't do so, if you don't try to make the world Krishna conscious, it definitely won't happen. If you do try to have it, it probably won't happen in our lifetime, but who knows what can happen if you really make that endeavor. Krishna can do anything. The whole point is we have to be pure. We have to purify ourselves. The Nrsimha prayers we sing every morning, Bahir Nasingo Hridaye Nasingha. Prabhupada elaborates what is the meaning of these 4 simple words. May Lord Nrsimhadev dwell within my heart, killing all my bad propensities so that my heart can become clean and I can bring peace to the entire world. That's the meaning of Bahir Nasingha. The devotee is praying that he can make the whole world Krishna conscious by singing Bahir Nasingha. Nrsimha within, Bahir devotee, Nrsimha without, the whole world is Nrsimha-ized, Krishna-ized. Bahir Nrsimha means we're praying that the whole world can become Krishna-ized, you see. Prabhupada, that's in Prabhupada's purport in the 5th canto, describes the meaning of Bahir Nrsimha, Hridaya Nrsimha. So my idealism is certified by Prabhupada. Bahir Nrsimha, may the whole world become Krishna conscious. You see. Anything else? Y'all? That's what we say in Texas. It's the plural form of you.
Just Hare Krishna. Just a question on behalf of one Mataji. How do we tell the difference when to know if we're actually becoming humble internally or if we've just got low self-esteem? Or how do we truly become humble?
Low self-esteem. That's considered really bad, isn't it, in modern day psychology? You shouldn't have low self-esteem. You have to think very highly of yourself. That's the modern day philosophy. Actually, the more you can realize that you're just a complete rakshasa, Actually, it's very good. I'm just asaram bhav. The more you can see in Krishna consciousness, the more you actually feel low, that's how you become high. Mature world, they can understand this. But the fact is, the more you can think of yourself, I'm lower than that piece of whatever it is on the carpet there. I'm just the lowest of the low of the low of the low of the low. I'm the stool of the worm in the stool, you see. The more you can feel lowly like that, the more you become elevated. So, you know, Prabhupada told me, he said, now you just qualify yourself to see Krishna face to face. Do you think he became so humble that Krishna revealed himself, you'd be suffering from low esteem? Krishna revealed himself, you had the full darshan of Krishna in his threefold bending form. Premanjana chadita bhakti valochanena santaksadaiva hidayeshe valokayanti yang shama shundaram achintuganas farupam govindam adipurusham tamaham vajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shama Sundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts, with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. The point is this. The more you actually feel very lowly and humble, you become empowered to not only experience Krishna, but to give Krishna to the whole world. Prabhupada said, I act like a king because nobody can defeat me. So actually someone who is fully humble, he becomes the most powerful philosopher. You see, he can defeat all of, it's called Digvijay Pandit, one who can defeat all opposing arguments. Prabhupada told us this. He said, you go village to village, city to city, town to town, and make Digvijay, that there is God. I can prove there is God. Who are you who say there is no God? Come on. You see, when you actually become humble, you become very powerful. You become so powerful you can lead the entire planet. You understand? So we're talking about training people to become powerful spiritual masters or presenters of Krishna consciousness who can actually lead an entire planet out of chaos. That's what we're talking about here. Prabhupada, here's what Prabhupada said. He says, one who becomes a pure chanter of Krishna's holy names, one who chants the holy names without any offense becomes the God Guru, and under his influence the whole universe takes up Krishna consciousness. Now, do you think to be in such a position where you can actually inspire the whole universe to take up Krishna consciousness would be a position of low esteem? Yes. You have absolutely zero esteem for yourself and unlimited esteem for Krishna and for the devotees and for the spiritual master. So this idea of low esteem being something bad is just Western psychology, Western insanity. Eastern philosophy is the more you can feel very humble, the more you become empowered to act as an agent of God, to lead this world out of chaos. You understand?
Yeah. But how do we go from mentally knowing, for example, mentally thinking, okay, I know I should be humble, but still we don't feel humble. So how do we make the switch from thinking,
well, the thing, if you know you should be humble, you are being humble. Because you realize, when you recognize that you're not humble, that means you are being humble. If you think, Prabhu's, yeah, I'm really humble, Yeah, I'm pretty humble, yeah. I realize God, I'm pretty humble, yeah. I'm really humble, yeah. You see what I'm saying? The more you can feel, I'm just a rascal, I'm a puffed up rascal. That's now you're becoming humble, you see. The more you think, I'm just a puffed up, stupid, nonsense, damn, puffed up rascal. That is humility. You understand?
Thank you.
Aren't you a damn, stupid, nonsense, puffed up rascal? Aren't you?
Yeah, that's my problem.
Huh?
I said, yes, that's my issue.
You are. Well, that's good. You're realizing you're developing nice humility. All glory to your humility. The more you can realize those damn stupid nonsense rascals, you're developing humility. Now you can chant Hare Krishna. Krishna, save me from my damn false ego. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. if you think you're humble, you don't need to purify yourself. Get rid of your wicked demoniac mentality. How you can chant Hare Krishna with any kind of feeling? I don't need to chant Hare Krishna. I've already realized Krishna. You see? The more you can feel, I am absolutely bereft of Krishna consciousness. I have no taste for the holy name. I have no attraction to the holy Dham. I have no mood of serving the devotees. I'm just a complete nonsense. Now you're developing proper mood. All glories to your Krishna consciousness.
Okay, well, we're a little bit over time. We thank you all for attending. We also would like to thank His Grace Śrīmad Sankarshan Das Adhikari for attending with his dear wife Vishnu Priya Mataji. Thank you both for attending. So thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.